Hello, I'm Coach Lance Meyer of Grass Ministries and our mission advancer and chaplains coach at Chaplains in Schools. And today, the Green Room Art Studio is setting up shop here at Chaplains in Schools. Over the last couple of weeks, we've been learning about Moses and our Bible stories at Chaplains in Schools. And one of the things we see with Moses is one, his great leadership, but we also see his fear and his excuse making and many of his shortcomings as well. One of the challenges in painting is getting over our fears. We have that, we think everything's just going to come out perfectly. And of course, especially when you're working with watercolor, it does not. Even as somebody who's an experienced artist, we deal with mistakes over and over and over again. We like to call them happy mistakes, but that's just part of the learning process. But one of the things I'm going to help you with today is kind of getting over those fears. So uh, you can go to the dollar store, and today, instead of using paper, we're going to be using a little small canvas. You can get those there, and for a little while yet, you can still buy those for $1. That may change here soon, but I also have some of this little tape today, and I'll show you. It's called art tape. This is about 1/8 of an inch. You can cut little strips too out of masking tape. That'll work too. I'm just going to show you what we have going here today. This is called an abstract crosses. And again, instead of just having that white piece of paper, we're going to use a lot of color today and kind of work through our process a little bit. So I've already set up the little pieces of tape, and I've used some crosses. You could use other things. It doesn't have to be that, but we're just using a couple different designs. So make it your own. So that'd be the first step. I'm going to go ahead and move my camera down here. Just kind of see what we all got going on here. So today I obviously have my water. I have my paints. I have a few brushes over here. I have a little bit of paper towel. And then, of course, I have my canvas or piece of paper. This could be done on paper too. I just happen to have some little canvases, and they're relatively cheap. And that allows you to just have a very nice little piece of work kind of ready to go. You can frame these. You can just use them as is. You can put them up, or just use it as just a little opportunity to get a little bit better at art. So we're going to jump right in here. I'm going to jump in with a flat brush, a little bigger brush, and we're just going to have some fun with some colors. I like to start with some of the warm yellows. It's not the way you have to do it, but that's the way I kind of like to do it. So I'm just going to grab some of this yellow over here, and I'm just going to start putting this down. Now, again, there's a lot of different ways to do that. I'm not going to really try to stay within the lines. There might be a couple spots where I do, but I'm just going to start grabbing some yellow here. And we're just going to kind of put that down over here a little bit. And we'll throw some over here. Again, there's not really a rhyme or reason necessarily to what I'm doing here. But we'll get some yellow out here. Maybe over here I kind of want to get another shade of yellow. I'll grab another one of those, mix up my colors a little bit. I can use my mixing tray over here. Mix these up a little bit. Grab a little more water. That is the trick of the artist, right? Is figuring out how much water to use. And I'm going to get a little bit of this orange over here and try to throw that almost like a little sunset. Not that you have to do that, but I'll just make like a little pretty orange over here, sunset kind of thing. That's kind of cool looking. Grab even a little darker orange. You can pick up this kind of paint here again at Hobby Lobby. And these are real vibrant. They are professional grade. They're not the tubes, but what I like to do often is actually start with some of my other paints, some of the professional paints, and then come back because these have real vibrant colors, and it kind of helps the paintings pop at the end. So this particular thing where we want some bright colors, we can make that work pretty well. All right, we got some oranges in there. We got our yellows. I'm going to get one more round of yellow in through here. Get that to pop a little bit. Again, you could do this very differently, but I'm just going to kind of do that, kind of create almost a little sunset in my, could be almost like a glass stained window. I'm going to go next with some of these, let's grab a little red over here. let's just throw a little red there. Let's throw a little red up here, and let's throw a little red down here. Alrighty, and maybe I'll throw one up in the corner here too. And again, it can be, you can do that for some particular reason, or it can just be, yeah, that's just what we're going to do. So now I'm going to grab some of these blues. All right, we're going to grab this blue right here. And I'm going to mix it a little bit with that blue. Have a little fun. Again, I'm using a pretty big flat brush here. You could use a smaller brush, but I like to work big here to start with. And one of the things we're going to try to do, let's get some blues up over here. That's a little dark, but see if I can lighten that up with this blue a little bit toward the top of the sky. Now, just a little teaching tool here. If I was pretending this was a sky up here, and it's not necessarily, but let's just say it was, usually the top is going to be the darkest of blues. So I'm going to just throw that up in here a little bit, a little darker. And my point is not necessarily, I'm kind of leaning this a little more toward like a sunset or that kind of thing. You wouldn't have to do that. Just trying to get some colors out there. You pick your favorite colors and put them in there. All right, we're going to go with that a little bit. All right, now as we work our way down, we want to find some little lighter blues. That can be done with just a little more water. Here's a little lighter one too. And I'm going to put that over here a little bit just to change colors a little bit. All righty, getting some cool effects. I may even want to try to have this bleed a little bit into some of the colors. It's not going to do that as much on a canvas, but it may bleed a little bit. All right, let's get some of our pretty greens in here. Now, you can do that with combining yellows. Do that over here, grab a little yellow, and then throw a little blue into it. That's really how you get some pretty greens. Obviously, you can use straight greens, but I tend to find if you put yellow with some blues, you get some better effects with that, and then you can throw a little red in there too. It's kind of offset. I'll just grab a little red. There we go. We can offset that green a little bit. Come back a little yellow here, and I got a little blue over there. Ooh, there we go. Okay, now we cooking. All right, got our greens. All right, let's just throw some greens up in here. Again, the point is, this is kind of an abstract, but I'm kind of maybe putting in a couple little, almost like little trees in here. Again, don't have to do that, but that's one way we could do it. Grab that color a little bit. And trees, usually the bottoms are a little darker. Here I'm going to actually grab an actual green a little bit and just kind of put that in there a little bit. Again, we're just having some fun with this. Yeah, let's kind of see what we get. And maybe a little more bushes down here. And I always like to, there we go, get the darks in there. And then I like to always leave a little spot where we're going to get some purple going here. All right, that's one of my favorite things to do. Grab this red. And red and blue, of course, is going to make a purple. You notice I didn't do a very good job cleaning my brush. In fact, if you want, you can change brushes. That's an easy way to do that. That's another technique you can try. All right, a little red here. All right, let's grab some of this blue. Now this is a little more of an ultramarine blue, which has a little bit more of a purple or color to it. Got my, ooh, look at that. All right, now we're getting it. All right, so now just going to kind of pop that. Oh, let's pop some of that down here. Now that's a real dark purple. That's fine. I'm going to do that. That's almost looking black. I don't necessarily want that. So let's redden that up a little bit. So work across here. I'll actually try grabbing, they got a little true purple over here. I'll try grabbing a little bit of that. All right, now this is really getting violety, and that's okay. Wasn't exactly what I was looking for. Ooh, look at that. Those colors there, right? The green and the purple kind of mixing together a little bit. Grab a little more red for this corner here. Again, I could stay within those lines. I can kind of mix them. I like to mix it up a little bit. Oh, what do I like? What do I don't like? Okay. Let's just kind of see what we get here. Grab a little more of that purplish. Okay. Here's what I want to do there. I want to make a little bit of a tree maybe over here. And it's going to be a little lighter. I'm going to change brushes again. See, my water's getting a little dirty. All right, grabbing a little green, throw a little bit of that up in here. There we go. Again, this can be done so you actually, I'm kind of keeping this abstract in a sense, but I am kind of putting in a little bit of a sunset with trees and just kind of like playing around with that a little bit. Um, Again, there's not a right way and wrong. The one thing I'm trying to do here is just get some color, get over the fear of making mistakes. Allow this color to kind of see what happens with that. So we got, there we go. And actually, I kind of like this little white coming in through there. Again, I could just leave this. I may want to darken it up just a little bit in a few spots. I think that's what I'm going to do. Grab this big one again. I'm just going to grab a little bit of this straight purple over here and see if I can get this a little more lively. Yeah, there we go. A little more lively color there. And bring that down over here. And here's another little tip. If you take a little orange on your purple, let's just do that maybe in through here. You get kind of some cool effects. Bring that this way a little bit. Just almost creating a little scene in this, but again, you don't have to do that. But I'm just having a little fun with that. There we go. I kind of like that little white spot in there. I'm going to just leave that as is. And mix up my purple and oranges just a little bit. The other thing you do is take one side of your brush with orange and the other side with a little bit of the violet. And you can kind of get that effect a little bit. That can be kind of fun. Oh, I'm put it up into the green a little bit. You get some cool colors with that. So that's really what it is just kind of experimenting a little bit with your colors. Am I real pleased with how this turned out? You know, it's okay. But you have a nice variety of colors in there. And this little spot that I get a little white area, I kind of just like your eyes drawing to that. I'm going to come back to these trees just a little bit over here. Not that they would have to be trees, but I'm just going to kind of throw just a little more side of my brush. Yeah, there we go. Bring it up just a little bit. Change colors in a couple of them. Okay, there we go. I kind of like these colors in here and what that's doing. Again, you can kind of push trees. This one I kind of pushed reddish purple. You can push them more. These are a little more blue trees over here, a little more green, light, kind of light green. There's just a lot of ways to do that. One more thing I'm going to just do is up in this corner up there. I think I'm just going to get that a little more red. And just kind of bring that across like that. I like that. Anytime I can kind of mix the colors together a little bit, I just think you get a better picture. Okay, so the goal here is just to have some fun, get over our fears a little bit, and who knows, maybe you come up with something that looks halfway decent. I'll go ahead and turn this camera again, and there we go. We got a little scene. Now, what I'll do is actually in a little bit, I'll go ahead and take the tape off, and you'll end up with the white, or you can leave the tape on there. Either way is actually fine. But I think it'll kind of have a nice effect if I take the tape off. The other thing I can do once I take the tape off is actually come back, mix in maybe some blue and orange together or a little blue and red together, get a little dark purple to have the kind of those dark lines in there. That would be another way you could do that. We'll see how it looks. In fact, I'll take just a little bit off so you can see what kind of happens when we do that. Okay. The best laid plans, right? You see what's happening here? It's not working the way I planned it. Now that is what we call art. Okay, let me pull these off here and you'll see what I mean. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop right there for just a second. Actually, I'm going to pull this off yet. And maybe the problem is I pulled it off too quickly. But, yeah, there's another. Okay, I'm going to just pull this off here very carefully. I think it's probably part of the problem is I needed to wait a little bit. But, okay, now, here's what happened. Okay, so some of those colors actually ran in there. It's not actually the worst thing. Um, wasn't the original intent of the way I was going to do it. And it's a good example of just a messy, trying to make something maybe doesn't come out the way you wanted it to, but making the most of it. So there's a couple options I have on here. I can come back, let this dry, and now I can come back with a little bit of the dark paint, and that can still be, you can still make that work. Okay, so a good example of an artist having an idea and then maybe not working the way he wanted it to, and then now, just like life, having to kind of figure it out. So hopefully that's a good lesson too, not only in the game of art. I'm going to see if I can zoom that in so you can see that. And all right. God bless your day. Have a great day.